Welcome to the Invisible India podcast. I'm Jessica.
And I'm Abhishek. We are a cross-cultural couple doing life in India, exploring the lesser-known mysteries of Indian culture,
Interviewing fascinating figures who have chartered new territories, and sharing life as we raise our multicultural family amongst the complexities of modern Indian life. Hey, Jessica here, and today I am with Dr. Shari Krishna at Kairali Ayurvedic Center in Patna, Bihar. And I wanted to talk to Dr. Shari today because she's very knowledgeable in Ayurveda. We're going to talk a bit about the origins of Ayurveda and how Dr. Shari practices here, what are some of the common things that you might not know about Ayurveda. We'll learn about Dr. Shari as well. So we're just discussing here about, I asked, Dr. Shari, what does Shari mean? And you were just telling me some really interesting...
Hi, Jessica.
Yeah.
So I was telling meaning of my name.
Yes,
you asked
Shari.
me, so long back when I joined this BAMS, Bachelor of Ayurvedic Surgery and Medicine. So when I was a first year student, we had a Sanskrit sir. We had to study the subject of Sanskrit. He told me the meaning of my name is my name belongs to one wife of one God who is love of God, and his wife name was Shari. So I'm thankful, I'm happy to hear
Yes.
that. And one more meaning, it shows in Kerala, it's like a bird.
You are from Kerala.
Yeah, I'm from Kerala.
And which part of Kerala are you from?
I'm basically from Kasaragod. End part, it comes to north part of Kerala, and next to that comes Karnataka. And I'm married to, and my mother's basic town is Alapi. And I'm married to Trivandrum.
Okay, so you have connections all over the states.
All over the states.
3 different parts.
Yes.
And you came to North India how long back?
I worked before in Delhi too.
Okay.
One of the center for a year. Then I'm here again in Patna. So I am used to traveling many places. Then I have worked in abroad also, Singapore, one of the center for a year. Then I got married. So after marriage, I have been to Patna through Kairali Ayurvedic Center.
And you have children also?
No, it's almost only 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
So we are looking
Yes. You just got married 6 months
6
back.
months back.
Okay. So how do you find Patna? Being from South India, which is, and for anyone that's listening that might not know, is very different from where we are.
Yeah.
It's almost like a different country, entirely different country. Language is different, food is different, culture is different. So how do you feel coming from a very different place and living here in Patna?
Patna, one thing I adapt very soon, comfortable to any place, no issues. And maybe because I learned my studies I did from Karnataka.
Yes.
And one of the college, Munial Institute of Ayurveda Medical Science, Udupi, near to Manipal, where we had an exposure of mixed communities, from different part of India. Students are mixed. So we were, in the beginning, we used to sit with North Indians, South Indians, Tamilians. So that maybe gave me a chance to adapt anywhere part of the India. So I didn't feel any difficulty. And one more thing, regarding Bihar, people have another outlook that it belongs to very interior place, nothing. Patna is one of the best city. It's a good city. I feel very comfortable. Mm-hmm. And since 6 months, I'm very happy. No issues.
That's wonderful to hear. Yes. I feel that Bihar has an unfair stereotype.
Yeah, yes. Even when I was to join here, my family members asked, any part of the world you can go, why Bihar? Then I was like, no, nothing like that. When I came to Patna, it's a normal city where everywhere you can find. People live normally, nothing different, no issues. So it's nothing it's for regarding safety. I go alone, I come alone. There's no issues in that.
Yes, and you also speak very nice Hindi, which is a very unique thing for someone from Kerala.
That's maybe that credit goes to my friends. Yeah. I have been staying since 6 years of my studies with internship, and all the gangs were from North Indians. They started speaking.
इसलिए आप इतनी अच्छी हिंदी बोलती है.
फिर भी थोड़ा बहुत हो जाते फिर भी ठीक है.
नहीं बहुत अच्छी बोलती है, बहुत अच्छी हिंदी बोलती है.
और being you also speak Hindi.
Yes. So Tell me a bit about how did you know originally that you wanted to go into Ayurvedic medicine? How did you get interested in Ayurveda?
From my school studies, I can tell you from the plus two, where we start thinking about our career, parents, and all. I had a basic interest to go to a medical field. Basically, when it comes to medical field, we prefer MBBS.
Right.
That is it. So my parents were opting and going for all the entrance and everything. And regardingly, I got my number coming in Ayurvedic section. So we had a discussion. Ayurveda is not bad. A lot of universities are there. It's coming up front. Many hospitals, careers and all. And we had to study a lot. I opted it. And I opted it with whole my mind after knowing the what is BAMS and what is Ayurveda. It was interesting. And one more thing, when I joined the first class, I came to know to study Ayurveda, you should have a blessing from God. It's like that. So I'm thankful for that. They tell when we'll come to the origin of Ayurveda, then we'll come to know about it.
Yes. Blessing of God, and you, of course, had blessing from your parents.
Parents, yes, of course. With their support, I have reached this place. Yes.
And interest from within.
Yes.
So that's a very good combination. Many people do things because they are thinking, what are other people going to think? Or this makes a lot of money, or my parents want me to do this, or this is what society expects. But I find that I'm very happy to see that you have a genuine interest.
I had an interest in a medical field that I want to be a doctor. But being a plus 2 student, I didn't have much idea before. I just want to know that I want to become a doctor. So whether it is an MBBS or it's Ayurveda or dentist, whatever it is. But when we were into that, when I thought I have a choice to take a BAMS professional degree, I went into that. We talked about someone who is regarding knowledgeable, and I found this interesting. Fine. So, and some, of course, there was opposing from my relatives. It was why to opt for Ayurvedic, go for one more year of coaching, go for MBBS. It's more career is more positive. You will be strong enough. Society accepts MBBS more. Other part of allopathy, but I had a choice that when I'm able to study this, I'll go with this.
Right.
So I went this. I love this field. Maybe because of that, I didn't stop being practicing in Kerala only.
Yes.
Like my husband is also, I'm thankful to him. He gave me permission to move around.
Sure.
That is it. After my parents, I really own him.
Yes. Yeah. It's so wonderful. You have a supportive husband who believes in you and wants to support your career and trusts you. He may also have some concerns. Oh, Bihar kyun ja rahi hai? Why are you? My wife is going to Bihar. But has he been to visit you here or no?
He'll come here. Okay. On the next visit he'll come.
Okay.
तो उनको भी था कि बस उन्होंने ये पूछा तुम्हें जहाँ काम करना कर लो कोई बात नहीं है because it's I also agree but be careful, be safe. उनका इतना ही concern था. तो once I came here, I told him I'm safe, nothing to worry. He's okay. He's not worried at all.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
For some people who may be listening, and for myself also, I would love to hear about the origins of Ayurveda, some of just the basic concepts. I think many people, would assume it's associated with yoga, it's associated with meditation, that may or may not be true. So if you can tell us a bit.
To my knowledge and my experience, I'll tell you Ayurveda, there is this bit sloka. There are a lot of acharyas who has propagated Ayurveda through scripts and through writings and through words.
Yes.
So one of the acharya we tell, according to the modern concept, Vagbhata, Acharya Vagbhata we call him. His verses and his texts were easy to read in Sanskrit compared to other acharyas. And from his book, what we learned is, I can tell you 2 lines of that. Brahma smritva aisho vedam prajapati majigraha ashvinautu sahasraksham atriputradi kamuni. This is a Sanskrit sloka. So meaning of this Brahma, Lord Brahma, from him, as a verbal, it was transferred to Prajapati, one of the Vedic history of man. I can tell you, he is a father of Sati, who was the first wife of Shiva, and he had a very villain picture in the Veda. So, and from him it went to Brahma Smritva Ayusho Vedam Prajapati Majigraha to Ashwino. There were physicians, 2 physicians called Ashwinaputras. They were known as doctors in Ayurveda in Puranas. From them, it went to Atriputra. There were many Muni and Acharyas, and then later it come to Gurukula system. From one Acharya, many students, they hear, they repeat the slokas, they learn, and to this modern era, it came as a universities and colleges where we take as a professional degrees. So this is a simple way of origin. And later, if you go into deeper, there is a lot of slokas. So this is a basic origin. So it's started, and Dhanvantri, there was a month, there was a fight between goddess and devils, and we all know that story. Lord Vishnu had the snake, Ananda snake. There was pulled. One part it was tail and one part the head. Tail was caught by devas and head was caught by the demons. And we had a Mantara, that hill, and we were pulling each other that side. Then the Lord Dhanvantri came from that sea, and he bought the Ayurveda, one of the Amritam. In his hand he had one Amritam, an Ayurveda, and the Jaloka, one of the leech therapy, and one Chakra. So we tell Dhanvantri is the origin of Ayurveda, god of Ayurveda, who is the incarnation of Lord Shiva, Brahma, and Vishnu. Three. So this is a basic origin of Ayurveda.
So it's associated with some of even the origins of Indian culture, the origins of Hindu civilization.
Yes, it can be related to civilization, Hindu civilization, but nothing I can tell that it's a Hindu religion. We cannot relate it to a religion, but it is a concept in the Puranas where it was written as a stories and the Vedics. It is being written that Ayurveda has been originated in this way. And that is a one concept, and that is Dhanvantri concept. And another one is Vagbhata, what I told you. It's from Brahma, Brahmadeva. It was being told to Prajapati. Prajapati propagated to the Ashwini doctors, who is called the doctors, and then from to Gurukula system, it went on like that. So different Acharya has a different...
So how do you feel the difference between ancient Ayurveda and the way that Ayurveda is practiced in modern times?
Ancient Ayurveda, I'm very wonder to know this, that we didn't have any cell or stent, or we didn't have any microscope to detect a cell and everything. But the Siddhanta, the modern aspect of cell has been described before 5000 BCs in Atharva Veda, that cell is the basic origin of life. Then how it was discovered, how they could know, we don't know. And maybe we can believe as the stories they had a third eye. So that is wonderful. One thing nobody can explain about that. And difference in the practice, I think right now the practice, frankly I tell you, it has been kept a boundary. There is there are a lot of scope for researchers, but I don't know, many things have been around Ayurveda that it cannot be used for an emergency purpose, it cannot be go for, so they have kept in a boundary that Ayurveda is limited to only small such and such things. But preventive
and some minor pain.
Minor things. But I think Asian practice were very strong. Because surgery was found by Sushruta. Who is a father of, known in one of the Acharya of Ayurveda. He is known as father of surgery. And he is being worshipped in other medicine of systems. So that way we cannot tell that Ayurveda didn't have any practice. But now there are a lot of I don't know what happened, the system has got to commercial purpose or in the business way. There's a lot of blockages for progression. Maybe somebody is working on that. Some people are working on it. Good. We'll wait.
In one sense, you're also working in this sense, because the more that people become aware of Ayurvedic treatments, the more that people become confident in Ayurvedic treatments, the more that people will realize that what is working for them and what is not working for them, and what the way that they can put their trust in some of these less invasive and more natural.
In a simple way, Ayurveda works at the Tridosha Siddhanta.
Tridosha.
And Pancha Mahabhuta.
Yes. So please tell us about this. This is some of the, I wanted to ask you anyway about this. What are some of the core tenets of Ayurveda? So if you can tell us about Tridosha, some of the basic concepts.
Basically, Ayurveda works on Tridosha and Pancha Mahabhuta. And Tridosha means Vata, Pitta, Kapha. I think
Yes.
every one of in 100, 1% people, at least 10% of people knows what is Vata
Yes.
Pitta Kapha.
Yes, even abroad, many
Yeah.
people know. This is becoming more popular. This is becoming more well known.
Yes.
And
Then Panchamahabhuta, Vayu, Jala, Agni, Prithvi, Akash.
yes,
So yeah. So they tell every single body is made with Tridosha and Panchamahabhuta.
yes,
And how we can relate to it, Panchamahabhuta, we can relate it to our external, even the hair, skin, eyes, organs, and the liquids, everything. Vata, Pitta, Kapha, we can prescribe according to the characteristics in the body. And even Ayurveda tells daily regimen, seasonal regimen, food habits, exercise, yoga. And of course, one more thing you told me in the beginning, whether the yoga meditation is associated with the
Yes.
Ayurveda. Nowadays, yes, they have been associated, but they have been described in Ayurveda. One of the other part of the Ayurveda is a vast subject.
very vast.
Very vast and very deep. Lot of people, lot of acharya, we call them acharya,
Yes.
those are propaganda.
Yes.
They have written their own experience and their own scripts. And from them, many of them has commented on this. So for one Samhita, we call it as a Samhita, a group of specific knowledges. So it's a very vast, we cannot tell which is exactly this and that. So in a conscience, Ayurveda works on Tridosha Siddhanta of a body and Panchamahabhuta Siddhanta. And to balance this, they have prescribed how to follow a diet in a day, what things you should do in a day, what you should not do on a daily purpose, seasonal purpose, and your food, regimen, type of body, prakriti, everything.
Yes.
So this is how we do it.
So, for example, let's take I'll take myself as an example. I believe I'm categorized as Kapha Pitta. And so that would mean that I have, like, from what I understand, I have like slow digestion and I absorb fat very easily in the body.
External appearance also we can make
You
out.
can make out.
Yeah.
Would you think that about
Kapha,
what could
because
be
your
incorrect?
your conjunctivitis are very clear.
I see.
So nothing like somebody will have yellowish always. It's
I
not
see.
a disease. It's a pitta prakriti.
I see.
And you have a clear skin, so pitta is good enough. Your hair is thick and oily. Scalp you have, or is it a dry one?
A bit dry, but this season is fine.
And then the way you speak and everything, some people speak very fast. Then
Right.
shows they are very vata predominant.
I see.
Activities, your mood changes, your digestion concerns, your external body, and of course everything we cannot assess because these doshas doesn't stay in samadosha. Our lifestyle and food counts. So this goes to viruddha. It goes up and down. Skin problems, others, obesity,
Right.
early graying of your hair.
Yes.
Even if you're 28, you seems to be 35.
I see.
So these all comes with our daily routine. So in that case, we have to take the pulse reading. There we count on the specific pulse reading. We count whether vata dosha, vata pitta kapha has been elevated, increased or decreased. What is your avastha? What is your condition of body presently? Then we take a history of the patients. This way we need to balance with medicine and purificatory procedures. This is how Ayurveda is.
So, what would the basic advice be for someone that has kapha pitta in food habits, what to avoid, certain things like that?
Kapha predominant people, like basically.
Is predominant. I see.
So Dwandaja is always we call it as like for a prakriti. Nobody is a single prakriti.
Right.
Nobody is tridosha prakriti.
I see.
One who is balanced tridosha that is called sattvika. So those are munis and they have that prakriti. Hum log ki tarah se normally we are always dvandaja. Both in the 3, 2 will be predominant, and in the 2, 1 will be recessive, 1 will be dominant.
I see.
Based
Normal
on
people, people who are not living, we have normal life, we have stresses, we have polluted environment, we have office work, we have, emotional things. So you're saying someone that's perfectly balanced in the 3
Vata
pitta would be someone like who?
Like Muni or those who meditate for years, rishis.
Muni, I see. Someone
has detached from all the dharma, artha, kama, moksha. They have reached to that state from they had detached in last stage of life.
Right.
Brahmavastha, they go to that. They have that tridosha balanced.
I see.
So like us, a normal people, everybody, they'll have a two doshas.
I see.
In a dominancy with the other, and in the among the two, one will be recessive, one will be dominant. That will show you in digestion, it will show you in external appearance, and it will alter based on your food and your sleep and the way you act a whole day, everything.
It's all connected. It's not just your food, it's your emotional reactions and interactions, it's your sleep, it's your work environment, it's the seasons. I see. It's all connected.
In Ashtanga Hridaya, one of the book in Samhita, in the 3rd chapter, Sutra Sthana, he had mentioned a daily routine. When to get up, how to brush, how to take bath, how to oil, to put like kajal to your eyes, and etc. Till your food, your sleep. He has mentioned the basic. If you do, if you don't do, what are the things you are going to face.
I see.
That's a really good text, a good paragraph. Those who know, those who are interested, you can go through that chapter.
Ashtanga
Hridaya, Sutra Sthana, 3rd chapter. Now the modern people like require what is suiting me, what I should eat, how I should follow to keep me young, alive and disease free. So for you, kapha predominant people will always have a tendency to eat sweet. It's a common factor. They like having sweet. And you know, something excess in sweet can cause other problems.
Yes.
Finally. But those who can balance with that, fine. You eat sweet, and if you work out, you take a quantity of sweet to according to your daily requirement, fine. It's healthy. But it matters what kind of sweet you take.
I see.
That is also there. So kapha people, actually they should have a sour type of food, astringent type of food, a more. Like for example, they can go for bitter gourd, Kairali, that kind, and a pitta, your pitta also.
Yes.
So when it comes to pitta, you cannot go for too much spicy things. If you take a too spicy, too much of salt, too much of red chili, it can be seen in your skin, or it can relate to your GIT problems. So there is a question, then what I eat? Reduce the amount of it and less intake of that, and go for example for your Loki ka sabji. That will balance, and ghee will balance pitta and kapha. Instead of going for the oil, sarson ka tel and coconut oil or something, for you the ghee prepared food will help you a lot.
I see.
This way you can keep balance. And I'll tell you, it's not easy in this modern world to go for according to prescription, but some modifications will help you getting into some disease. So prevention is better than cure. That way we can advise these foods are good for you. These foods you can avoid.
Yes. One of the things that I think most people in India already know instinctively, but I want to say again for anyone else who's listening, is that Ayurvedic requirement is vegetarian diet.
Yeah, sure.
Right. Is that correct?
Correct, but they have not limited to vegetarian.
I see.
You can take non-vegetarian in a form, preparation of cooking. And in Ayurveda is nothing like that. When it comes to food, they have mentioned even the which is the best non-vegetarian food.
Oh really?
There is even in that same book, Ashtanga Hridaya, Shakadanya Varga, one of the chapter. I think it's almost in the Sutra Sthana. They have mentioned about Shimbidanya Varga, Shukadanya Varga. Shimbidanya means grain. All the grains. दानों के उसमें से सबसे बेस्ट कौन है, सबसे नीचे कौन, डाइजेशन के टाइम कितना लगता है, कितने किस के प्रकृति लोगों के लिए अच्छा है. Even about the water, different kind of waters, different kind of meats, different kind of vegetables, fruits, everything has been explained. So when you come to vegetarian, they have told you can go for mutton, but in some cases we cannot take chicken. You can have, but least they have preferred beef, pork, pig meats.
Right, those that are not suggested.
Suggested. So it's nothing like it's only vegetarian. No,
that's new information for me. I thought that Ayurvedic was always given in vegetarian recommendations. So that's something new I did not realize.
There is a specific. They have mentioned about all the things in the entire world, which is the best, which is not. And what is the quality of the meat. And when it has to be taken according to season wise.
Very important.
That is
very important.
Yes. So if we talk about it as a single topic on that, it's very vast.
One thing that was just talking about my personal experience, that I when I first came to India, I was starting to eat more Indian food and vegetarian diet, and I cut out the dairy products, and I had some struggles because I think that it's balanced. The Indian diet, and especially the way most people eat, Ayurveda is kind of instinctively part of the Indian lifestyle.
Yeah.
So people know that, and I was not taking dahi, I was yogurt, curd, I was not taking milk, I was not taking many of these things, but I was having spicy food, I was having grains and rice, and it was difficult for me. So I think there's a lot of wisdom in the balance of how the Indian diet that's influenced by Ayurveda has been carried and passed down through the generations.
Yeah, because in Ayurveda, they have in one phrases they have mentioned about the balancing of food, starting with the sweet and ending with the sour things. So in order to balance kapha, pitta and vata. So that why we start with sweet, or somebody start with the sour thing, curd, either of the one in different part of the world. In India, different part of the India is in a different way.
Sure.
When we come to, for example, when we come to Tamilian dish, they start
coconuts,
with
they used to. Yeah.
They start with the semiya. Sweet.
Yes.
Then you have rice, curries, and all the things.
Yes.
And then we end with the curds.
Curd.
So that way, kapha, pitta, and vata.
Yes.
Three things have been balanced.
Yes, we had one guest staying with us, and this is exactly what he requested. He was from Tamil Nadu. And so he requested, and then at the very end, he was requesting papaya.
Yeah.
After 30 minutes after the curd, he would have papaya every time.
So that's you were right. In an Indian diet, maybe the early ancient our grandparents, they had a knowledge. They were attached to all these Ayurvedic practices in one or the other way.
Yes.
So they knew how to eat and how to be served and what are the things to be prepared.
Tell me one thing I'm wanting to know that's very curious to me, and something we don't talk about at all in my country, in the US, is the hot versus cold. People say, "Oh, this is a hot veggie. This is a hot spice. This is a cold." Banana is cold, papaya is hot, mango is hot. All of these things. This was completely foreign to me. And so, can you explain a little bit about ये शरीर को गर्म करते हैं, ये शरीर को ठंडा करते हैं? Is it only having to do with the digestion? Is it having to do with everything? And how does this
it has to
work?
do with everything.
I see.
See, when it's come to the body, I told you Tridosha and Panchamahabhuta.
Yes.
Apart from that, we tell there is one shloka, Samadosha, Samagni, Samadhatu, Malakriya. So Samadosha, you understood.
Yes.
It's a dosha. That dosha means water. And Samadhatu. Dhatu, when it comes to rasa dhatu to shukra dhatu. Rasa means our digestive fire.
Yeah,
Rasa, rakta. Mamsa, rakta means blood. Mamsa means muscles. Meda comes to bone marrow. Majja, again to the Meda comes to the fat. Majja comes to the bone marrow. Shukra comes to the semen part. So the nourishment starts from the rasa, it reaches to the shukra, which is related to semen, either in the ovum region or in the semen region. So it's like a part of origination, food.
Yes.
And food has a basic impact on all these dhatus. And Agni, another thing is Agni is a fire. So you were asking how this, like for example, papita, you told, for every kind of fruit and vegetables and food, typical small things, they have their own rasa vipaka. That's one subject in Ayurveda, rasa vipaka. Rasa, gunya, virya, vipaka. Rasa means the taste of that fruit. Guna means the quality of the food. Virya means the potency, hot or cold. That is, the virya especially decides that fruit or the vegetables or the grain or water or whatever it is, whether it is hot or cold.
I see.
So this is where the theory explains specifically every fruit, everything, every eatables has been, not only eatables, other non-eatable things also been described with this Panchasiddhanta, Rasa, Guna, Virya, Vipaka. So this is how we mention. For example, if I can tell you, regarding papaya itself, if you want to know, rasa of that is, it starts with madura, it starts with little pungent and ends with madura.
I see.
Madhura rasa, after chewing,
Yes.
when it is in the right state.
Yes.
And then guna. Guna is like what is the quality of it.
Yes.
It helps in digestion. It is fibrous. It's like motion. It helps in motion,
Yes.
bowels,
Bowel motion.
bowel motions. And of course, it is a brahmana chikitsa. Like somebody want to get good enough of medals and want to improve their skin, luster, and everything. It's rich in vitamin A and all the things.
I see.
And virya, it is like pitta pradhana fruit because it get digest very easily.
I see.
It has that chemical compound which is a hot in potency. So in according to modern people, how we can explain them is that every fruit and every have a basic chemical components, acetonin or serotonin. These are the extract of every fruit. That shows the typical element whether it is a hot in potency or cold in potency, which decides the digestion.
Yes.
This is how is the simple way of explaining. It is too long
Yes.
in that. So and another thing is curd.
Yes.
It's acidic.
Yes.
Basically, it is acidic. While eating, we feel it's soothing and everything, but actually, it is acidic, and it is more to pitta.
I see.
So we call this dahi. Again, हम कहते हैं कि दही बहुत ठंडा है पर दही गर्म है.
Dahi garam.
तो ये चीज
Interesting.
बनता है. This is how rasa, guna, virya, vipaka. We have to know each and everything of a single. Same applies on the drug when it comes to medicine. Like I'll tell you one of the medicine, Chyawanprash. It's a common medicine
Very
known
common.
to everyone.
Yes.
And it has lot of contents, lot of medicines. They have a combination in each drug has its own rasa, guna, virya, vipaka. So it's very important to know every drug singly. So this is how they mentioned, and I don't know how the brain they had ancient people to classify the drugs into every group, how they had a sense of taste to know what is hot, what is cold. We know the knowledge. I am here to able to speak because I have learned from the book which has been provided, and till my this 6 years and almost 7 years of experience, what I have seen. It's more to learn, more to go, nothing ended.
So is there anything else you want to share, the basics of Ayurveda, or do you feel it's mostly been covered?
Now, this is the basic concepts people ask. Apart from this, everybody knows the Ayurveda says there is a regimen for body. You have to get up at 3 p.m. You have to daily put oil and take bath head to toe. Basically, in oiling of body, I'll tell you, head, ears, and feet has to be covered.
I see.
Has to be covered. This is a 3 part where we feel that oiling has to be done. Take a wash, like take a head bath daily. Have a food in the proper time. And have food according to season.
I see. Yes.
Example, fruits. Take seasonal fruits is good rather than going for other fruits where you get. So these are the common things where we can explain. Apart from this, aim of Ayurveda is to keep a healthy person healthy, and who are unhealthy, bring back them to healthy. It's nothing like when you are you have a disease, then only you have to opt for Ayurveda. Nothing. You can prevent. You can take examples like follow the regimen and diet of Ayurveda. You will be healthy enough. So, and age related, of course, we cannot prevent, but we will be better compared to the others.
Very nice. Thank you for that. So if you could tell most people there's a few things that they should change about the way that they're living their lifestyle, what advice would you give?
I'll advise for myself first. I'll tell you, if I want to change something, I have to change myself. So for Ayurveda, the first thing as a person, I have to change my wake up time to my body. I'm a kapha pradhana person. Basically, I'm a kapha pitta, where I must not take a food which is, that's why I'll get a skin problem, and of course I have little bit, and my motions are very heavy. So my basic thing, I should get it between 5 to 6, and I don't. Frankly, I don't. And now because यहाँ ठंड बहुत है, इसलिए थोड़ा बहुत लगता है.
It's cold here, so that's difficult.
That's difficult. And for my Prakriti, first thing is that from the beginning, a day, I can tell a daily routine. A day beginner, what as a Kapha Pitta Prakriti person, what I should do is I should get up between 5 to 6 a.m. And after that, I should drink hot water, 1 glass of hot water, and then I can go for a plain or a cinnamon hot water since I am a kapha prakriti. And for the pitta predominant. Now I am kapha and pitta.
I see.
And somebody will be pitta and kapha.
I see.
For the pitta and kapha, they are not supposed to take lemon water with lemon with hot water in the morning.
Which is something that people
do
subscribe
that.
to everyone. But it's not necessarily supposed to be
Who is pitta predominant and kapha recessive prakriti, they can go for jeera water.
I see.
Or even plain hot water, lukewarm water will help them, kindle the digestion. But for me, cinnamon water will help me. And then I should at least drink 2 glasses of water in the morning. Then I should go for exercise since I am kapha prakriti, at least 40 minutes, because my strength is good enough compared to the other prakritis.
Sure.
Kapha people are more strengths, but they will gain the weight excessive than compared to other prakritis.
I see.
So I must, it is compulsory for me that I should go for 45 minutes of exercise, either it is a walking, jumping, whatever it is. Yoga and meditation.
Yes.
Meditation is, and in the yoga, for me, the best is Paschimottanasana, Sarvangasana. This prefers, because for kapha prakriti people tendency to get a lot of disease, obesity related problems, liver problems. Then motion, regulate the motion.
Yes.
Then have food which is not too oily.
Yes.
And not a dairy products in the morning.
No dairy in the
No
morning.
dairy products. I can go for idli, dosa, no issue, in a limited. And my way of food should be like 6 times a day in small bowls.
I see.
Small meals. And then I must take my lunch between 1 to 2.
I see.
1 to 2. Then before 7 to 7:30, I must have my
early
dinner.
Early dinner also.
Early dinner. And 1 glass of hot water before 1 hour of bed. Then I must sleep by 9 to 9:30. This is the way. And it's a general way for everybody.
Yes.
But for Vata people, it will be more early.
I see.
That's it. The Prakriti, as a person, to hum ye karna, ye khana, ye nahi khana hai.
That's very nice to hear. But so is there's not anything that you would say most people are doing that they should not be doing?
Yes, this is a way. They don't know. Actually,
know.
we don't know what our body requires.
I see.
So, first we get a lot of like now internet and now things has progressed so much. People they look into that, they know that basics are this, but not necessarily they have been the proper direction.
I see.
What they take. So it's per person, it is different. Their food, the way they have to eat, the way they have to wear whatever it is.
Sure.
Simple, small things to big things, it's very different.
So in Indian culture, these are many things that I think people know instinctively, but sometimes we don't do, or we know we should be drinking water, we know we should be waking early, we know that we should not be taking our food after 9 p.m., 10 p.m. But many people, in fact, the majority of people do this, right?
Yes.
So for Western culture, do you have any recommendation in general, or is it again only dependent just on the person, or do you have any general recommendations on how Ayurvedic can benefit people abroad?
Nature is one of the miracles, because the people born in typical place, the nature has adapted their skin and their digestion to that place, and that's why we have difference between us, the Western, abroad people, European peoples. They are adapted to their own typical places. So they have been given the immunity from the nature itself. And from there, we cannot compare that. Our food style should be, Ayurveda doesn't say this should be the food style. They have mentioned it's according to the the place and the body, and according to whatever it has been independently told. It's nothing to relate with that. Every person has to follow the same propaganda. No, nothing. So for the Western people, what we can say, not only Western, every part of the world, we can say, it's 100% comes to food, and the oxygen we take, and the water we drink, and the time we sleep. How we use, and one more thing, brain, our nose, our respiration, the eyes, hands, legs, and our food, stomach, how we make use of it. This is what we are.
Wow.
This is what we are, nothing else. So it's for every part, entire world, every part of the world, for everyone. The simple thing is what we are when we look into the mirror. It's like our food, our sleep, our breathing, our water, what we think, everything. It's only us. So it's a basic thing we should know what is right to us, what is wrong to us. But of course, it's finally up to us how we have to maintain ourselves. Despite of our work, our family, our job, our emotional problems, stress, etc. And it's nothing like we have went wrong, we cannot come back. No, we can come back. In Ayurveda, some base medicine is food. They tell food is the main medicine. Then comes the rest.
Yes.
So totally, this is what I have to tell you.
Yes. So this is I think it's very profound, but simple.
Very simple.
But common sense is not so common for everyone. So sometimes, hearing these things, we know these things, but we don't do it. So this is why it's wonderful to have people like you who are studying these things, who are promoting these things, and having healthy lifestyle of not being too dependent on invasive surgery or pharmaceutical drugs, and that there are many things that we can do to not only to prevent but to treat ourselves and also to bring ourselves in balance in many ways.
In other general words, what I can tell, I told you what we eat and what we think and what we take an oxygen. Some people say, so doctor, how will you take a good oxygen? Then that comes to the society.
Yes.
You all have to think why we don't get a good air or a fresh air, why it is polluted. So if everybody thinks, we can bring in the greenery back. And some part of the world they have tried and they are successful.
Correct.
Some place in Bhutan, it's like carbon dioxide free area. Why? Because the government has maintained their nature and their place as it is.
Yes.
So it's upon the purpose. Per person if decides to change, they can change. It should be it's like a chain. It's not like we can change 10 people. No, we ourselves has to change them. We can change others. So actually, I can tell Ayurveda has described everything of the world in a very concise manner, in 2 lines of sloka, but there are 100 meanings. Yes. If I read a sloka for 10 times, I'll get 10 meanings. So it's it's more vast. And for me, 7 years or 6 years, I am in a Ayurvedic department. I can say I'm a very small kid. I have many roads to go, many things to learn, many things to study, many more to see. So it's nothing. To my experience and my knowledge, I have shared all the things what I know.
Well, thank you for sharing so many very helpful and profound and insightful things with me. And I'm very thankful to have you here in the city, and getting to know you has been a delight. I love getting to see you whenever I come here. Thank you for the work you're doing.
One thing I wanted to tell, I wanted to share is, I'm very, very thankful to my parents who had gave me this opportunity for this education. They helped me in a financial way and a supportive way. And my parents are very free to go me all around the world. I have been working in Kerala, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, North Indian, every part. So I'm very thankful to them. And next, I'm very, very, as a married woman, I'm very much thankful to my husband.
Yes.
And he is wonderful for me. For this part of era, it's very difficult to find from our place husband supporting to travel you, stay you somewhere. And he's really, really worthful for me. And I'm really, really thankful to him.
Wonderful. Well, I'm thankful for him as well.
Yeah.
And allow you to come and bring your skills to this place.
And one more thing, I'm thankful to you, Jessica, taking me an interview about this.